So thank you, Tristan, so much for talking to us today about the new play that you're directing, which is Bootycandy. Can you tell us a bit about the play?
So Bootycandy is a kaleidoscopic look into one black queer man's imagination. It is semi-autobiographical from Robert O'Hara, so it's not necessarily his life, but it's inspired by a thing that's happened to him. But it's put into this main character called Sutter, and we are watching Sutter from the 70s all the way to the present day, understanding his own queerness, his own blackness, his own masculinity, and how he was brought up, and questioning that through theatre, through the writing of theatre, through the exploration of what theatre can give him in terms of understanding himself better. And then also, from what we've discovered in the room, who is this play for?
Mm.
Is it for him? Did he really write it for him? Is it for other queer people? Is it for the people that brought him up? Is it for homophobes? Is it not? It's for a variety of people, but looking at each scene and wondering, who is this play for and why?
That's interesting. That's a good way of kind of like figuring out each scene so that everybody can kind of understand who they're actually telling the story to.
Yes, exactly. Like we've taken it on in a, well, I don't want to spoil it, but we've taken it on in a very bold way in terms of how we do each scene and how each scene goes into the next scene throughout the play. It is mad. The play is mad, and we love it like that. So, yeah.
Nice. What attracted you to the play or the story?
For me, it was obviously I am, as a black queer man myself, I'm becoming far more interested in black queer stories. But in particular for me, it was about this man trying to use art to understand himself, because I realized throughout my life I've done that myself, obviously as an artist, and I felt like it was such an exciting, interesting way of exploring the boundaries of art too, and the boundaries of how much theatre can give you and how much it can't give you. And I found it a very cathartic, but also it put so many questions in my head about, why do I even do this? Do you know what I mean? What am I doing when I'm saying I'm interested in black queer stories, but why? What is it supposed to give me? All those questions start to come up. And I think those are questions that I really believe a British audience hasn't been asked before, or at least hasn't been asked for quite a while. I do know that there are so many black queer stories coming out now, exploring form and exploring those stories and exploring why we tell these stories, and the importance of them. And I feel like this play is a play that is worthy of being seen by a British audience too. That is what I feel. That's why I chose it.
I think it's so important that now it's a good thing that now like black artists are able to tell their stories, queer artists that are black, because the thing is,
Yes.
for many years we do see many plays that just do not represent us.
Mm.
And I think our stories are so important to be told. And so I'm super excited, to be honest, to see how everything kind of like unravels on the stage.
And I just want to say on top of that, and this is also what I've learned from doing for Black Boys, doing this, doing Over with Jesus. I'm very attracted. I actually am very, very attracted to realizing when something isn't my story, and realizing something is, or a part of a story is for someone else, and realizing that there's always multiplicity in stories. There's always, what is the Black experience? There isn't one, because there isn't one. And I think this play really explores what it's like in one person, how many different types of experience can come out. And I think that's what we need more of. We need more stories that are very clearly going, this is how I see the world. This is generally how I see the world. And I am not here to tell you that is the only way to see the world, because seeing blackness as one thing will not save us.
Yeah, I agree. As there's too many layers to blackness, too many layers.
So many.
It's not just one little square. It literally is layers on layers, and it
I
goes
know
real
why he
deep.
said square. I know why he said square.
But people hope that it's just one big square, but it really isn't.
It really isn't.
It
It really
isn't
isn't.
at all. And like it kind of leads on to my question for you, which is basically what you would want your audience to take from the play after they've
I,
watched it.
I want them to. There are so many feelings you're going to feel throughout watching this production. And I think what I want you to take from the end of the play is I want you to watch this play and go, wow, that's one person experience. And it was so fragmented,
Mm.
but that's so exciting. Number one, what is my experience and how would I tell that story in the variety of ways? And so saying that there's not one way to tell a story.
Mm.
And going to, oh my gosh, I actually, yes, want to hear more Black British queer stories. I'm very aware I'm doing an American piece of work, which I think speaks to Britain. And I hope makes people go, I hope it helps fan the flames because I think we're getting there. We're getting there with Black queer people that are from Britain telling these stories. And I feel like I want more people to go out of this going, rah, what has Britain got to say to this? How many more stories are out there? That's what I want. I think that is the best thing for both me and Robert to have come away from this.
Yeah, I agree. I was reading up about the play because obviously it's still in rehearsals, but it says that it's very funny. And I just kind of wanted to kind of get some more information on it. So is it a comedy but with like serious? So no, it's just very like
it's everything.
okay.
1 minute it's mad comedy, 1 minute it's very like subtle comedy, 1 minute it's completely tragic and a drama, 1 minute it's this, one it's that. The whole point is that it is undefinable by genre. You cannot. You cannot. So yes, you will laugh. You may even laugh in bits that other people won't laugh in. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Because this play wants to defy genre. So we play with all of these different genres and going, rah, this play and understanding that yes, this play wants us to go, oh, how many things can you do with it? Because really, none of them work. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah.
So it's like one big like roller coaster of different things. So the audience are in for a treat, basically.
Very much
is
so.
What we're saying.
It is a night. It is a definite night.
So exciting. What is it like to see your work come to life? So everything that you direct, because how does it feel when you kind of sit on press night or opening night and you see all of your hard work become a reality on the stage?
It is nerve-wracking, but I think also if there's one thing I've learned in my journey is that it is not all just my hard work. I have learned how much, especially I guess in my processes, how much I've collaborated and going, oh, right, when my designer said that actually worked. Oh, right, when my movement director put that in, that actually worked. I've done that more times than thinking, look how well I did. But also taking credit for when I've also put an idea that everybody thought that wouldn't work, and then it does, and it's like, you see. You see. But at the same time, taking on moments where you go, oh, that didn't work, but that's interesting and that's cool. That's good for me to learn from. Or, oh, that worked for one person in the audience. Does that mean it worked or didn't? And usually I go, well, because it worked for that one person in the audience, then it did something. It really did something, especially if it's the audience that I think it should reach. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, it did something. So it's hard to define it all because there's an array of emotions I feel when I watch work, and depends on the night that I'm watching it. But I do usually come away going, wow, we did a lot. We really did a lot.
I can,
so that's good.
and I can imagine because whenever I do anything and I kind of watch the fruits of not just my labor, but everyone around me's labor that we've all kind of worked together on, there's a mixture of feelings. It's almost emotional in a way because it's like, okay, now it's over, not over, but it's kind of like it's out there. But it's the sense of pride, just being proud of what you've done it can be a nice feeling, I'm sure.
and it is, but also it's scary. It's very much, for example, when the play is written, the play is trusted with a director, so that's their baby going out. And then when you've done a production, which will forever be an interpretation of the play, it will never be the exact play because you've got your mind on top of it. That is your baby going out, and then it's trusted with the actors to maintain that baby. But also in sometimes, not all the time, I'm not expecting actors to be doing new lines and new objectives, but sometimes improve on that baby and want to alter the baby. Like I've had that many times where I'm like, this is not what I directed, but it worked. Okay, what does that mean? Not that I said yes to doing that. You should be always doing that, but it means it's just taken on the board on the fact that you will never be able to fully just keep it forever, and it's not meant to be kept forever. It's just not. It's meant to evolve. It's meant to do what it needs to do outside of you. So yeah.
So from everything that you've achieved, so I know you recently won award for Best Director, and I think it was Best Production as well for Black Boys, as well as JMK
with Ryan.
Director.
I just want to say that with Ryan.
With Ryan, sorry, yes, with Ryan. And JMK Director Award. There's so many people that will want to know how you got into directing and what made you want to be a director. Because I know you also do writing and I know you're an actor as well. But why directing?
My mind is too busy. And that's the only way I can say it. Like, it's really weird. I was thinking about this as I was coming to this interview. I was like, why do I direct? What do I get from it? And I think there's something that I see in texts or I see in pieces or I see in an idea that I love writing and I will always be a writer. And I love to put those ideas on page, but there's something about seeing it in space that I always used to go, I've never seen this, but I feel like it should be this. I feel like I've got an idea for this and I want to try it, that I didn't have the voice before to say, but through my journey assisting, youth theatre, all of that made me go, I do have a voice, and my voice is bigger than the page and the stage in terms of me being a performer. It's a direction. It's a way that to view the world that I'd like to see who else connects with me on this viewing of the world.
Yeah.
In one space at one time, and I'd like to see who, after viewing that vision of the world, what they then think, because I feel like then there is an opportunity to not feel so. There's an opportunity for an expansion of the mind together. And I've always wanted to do that. And I can do that on a page. I can do that as an actor, but I see it happen more readily when I'm directing. Because people go, oh, right, I never thought about that before. And there's many times where I've gone, oh, right, I didn't think of that when someone told me that when they saw my work. And I'm like, well, my mind is expanded. Your mind is expanded. My heart is expanded. We all get to feel together. That's why I direct. I want to see who sees my point of view in the world, how I see this text in terms of my life, and goes, right, let's have a conversation. I feel like that's where my head is at the moment as to why I direct. Why I direct changes from month to month, year to year. Sometimes I direct because I want money. I'm not gonna lie. I direct because I want money.
This is the thing that sometimes is the top priority. Bills have to be paid, so
I would like to live. That's nice. You know what I mean? So, but then that's hardly usually the reason why I direct. But it changes from year to year. It changes from project to project. I think I like the first questions you asked, which is why am I directing this? Because there's many pieces that I read that I'm like, I love these pieces. I don't think I'm meant to direct it. I don't think I'm meant to put it up. I'm very much a person where I'm like, what's for me is for me, and what's for me won't pass me. So I just don't feel like this is my thing to do. But I am also a person that loves giving it to other people, going, you should look at this because I feel like
Yeah.
you find something in this. I love that. So
That's
yeah,
nice. I like that. I have some very quick fire questions for you. I think you've done these most probably with me before, but we're going to go through them again because life
yeah.
changes. So my first question for you is your favorite theatre space.
My favorite theatre space. I'm supposed to say the gate, and I do love the gate. I just want to let you know the gate's amazing. But if there wasn't a gate,
Mhm.
um, I love, I love the Bush main
Mm,
space because it is very, very versatile,
yeah.
and but the Bush itself has just this energy. There is just this energy that I've seen it in other places. Like I feel like the Young Vic has a similar energy, but the
Mm.
Bush feels. I think the Bush feels so homegrown. It feels like,
Mm.
you know what I mean? So yeah,
It's almost like it's ready for everyone.
yeah,
It's like you never feel like you're kind of stepping on anyone's toes, or you don't feel like you shouldn't be here. You feel like, okay, this is where I belong,
exactly.
and
It,
that's
it it
important.
feels so welcome. It feels so
Hmm.
welcome. I love it for that. So yeah, I think it's one of my favorite spaces. Before people come and tell me that I've trashed their theater, it's one of my favorite spaces, and it's the one at the top of my head right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
What is your favorite theatre show?
I should say for Black Boys, isn't it? Um, no, but I actually generally, when I saw for Black Boys at the Royal Court, when I had some time away from it, I was like, this is a beautiful piece of work. But other than that, my favorite theatre show, it's not necessarily my absolute favorite, but it's the one that's in my head as you're talking to me right now. There was a show at the Barbican called Unleashed,
Okay.
and it was a mixture of poets, the Barbican poets, and boy blue dancers. And it was just about, it was set during the time of the riots, but it was also about a whole load of other things. That performance expanded what theatre on stage could be for me. And I
Mm,
was blown away by that, by the sheer energy of it. And I've always been like, I
mm,
want to recreate that energy. And I feel
mm,
like I've not ever heard of that show again, but I've never forgotten that show. Unleashed at the Back.
mm.
So that's one of my favorite theatre shows ever.
Interesting. I'm going to check that one out because I don't know it, so I'm going to definitely check it out. Your dream guest. So this could be anybody. They could be dead. They could be alive. It doesn't matter. But someone you'd want to see the new play.
It's going to be controversial, but because he's in it, I would be
Okay.
very interested in what Michael Jackson thinks of this play.
Interesting. And Michael Jackson's in the play.
Yeah, he's in the play. As in,
Oh.
there's things about him in the play, and I'm like, I'm very interested to think of what you think of this play. Oh, and Luther Vandross, because
Oh, yeah.
I put Luther in the play in a nice little way.
Well, you must. He needs to be involved because even till this day, I just think about him all the time, just because his songs, just everything. He's just
Everything. There's always that speculation. I'm like, what if you were alive now in this day and age where we're having more of this conversation about being black and queer?
yes, yeah,
And it's never, I can't say that he absolutely was because he never said he absolutely was. But if it was true that he was, I wonder what he would think of today.
exactly. He most probably feel so much more confident to talk about it because
Yes.
unfortunately, 10 years ago, I think it's over 10 years since he passed away, actually. Could be
Yeah, he
wrong,
passed like
but
2003,
so almost 20 years ago.
almost 20 years
That's
ago now.
mental. But so 20 years ago, these conversations were not being said, especially within the
Mm.
black community. It just wasn't spoken about. Whereas now it's so much more open. People can speak. They can express how their lives without feeling like they're going to be disrespected. I would have loved to know what how he would have been,
I
what
would have
songs he
loved
would have brought out.
just to be alive and happy. And that's all I would have loved. But
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
that's why I'm happy for Tevin Campbell because he made it, and we should be really happy for him.
Yes,
Tevin made
yes,
it.
yes. 100%. Okay, so we've got Luther Vandross, Michael Jackson.
Mhm.
Nice. They're classics. Your proudest career moment to date?
Getting for Black Boys on in the West End. Hey,
Mm,
I'm not gonna lie about that. I think to get to the West End, it's been my proudest moment. Not because I think the West End is the be all end all, but it's more because that show was made on a lot less money than the West End gives. It was
mm,
made with a cast of people that people didn't know yet, that were already stars in their own right and in their talent,
yeah.
but didn't know yet. On the things we had to do to make that show where it was for that one at the New Drama
Mm.
to then be taken all the way to the West End, that is a proud thing for me in that I was part of that. I was a part of that. And I know I'm cheating with this game because I'm going to even say one of, but there are so many proud moments. But I think the most recent one, my most recent proud moment is that.
To be honest with you, I think it is a big, great achievement when any play goes to the West End, but even more of an achievement when we see plays that represent us.
Mm-hmm.
Because I honestly I mean, I've made this rule in my brain that I will not watch a play if there isn't enough representation. I just cannot be bothered anymore. And I know it sounds really people are like, but for me, it's just like I have what you know, you just sit there and you're like, I need to why not? If there's so many talented, you know, black creatives, why can't we be on the stage? So if there isn't any, then the show wasn't for me, so therefore I'm not going to watch it. So to know that this play has now hit the West End, it also means that so many people of all races and all backgrounds can watch a play and hear stories about not just black men, but black people in general. And I
Yes,
think that's important. And they can it's like almost like a snippet into our world. So yeah.
yes, yes. And that's what I'm most proud of. I'm most proud because I feel like it is a play that a lot of people are now going to be able to see, especially black men, but black
Mm,
people in general are going to get to see, and it's a cultural moment. I'm very aware that it's
mm,
part of a huge cultural moment, and it's nice to be a part of that. It's nice to be a part of that. So
nice. My last five question for you is the person who has inspired your career or has helped you with your career, either one, the most. But we'll go with inspired your career. Or the greatest impact, in fact, is what we'll say.
Christina, you're trying to get me in trouble. You're trying to get me in trouble. Um, I'm gonna be a cheater.
Mm-hmm.
Say two people, but only because they were at the same time in the same place and helped me at the same time. I would say Toby Clark
Okay.
at the old Oval House, which has now become Brixton House, and
Mm-hmm.
Jasmine Phillips, because they read my first ever play and they trashed it. They ripped it to shreds. And it wasn't, when I say trashed it, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, it's horrific. But it was more, they were like, they gave me the deep, deep dramaturgy, but then also inspired me to believe that I've got something. Uh,
Mm,
and they both helped me in their ways in terms of finding my voice. And they've
mm,
always been there in terms of people that I can turn to and go to. So um, in terms of inspire my career and help me get to where I am today, it will be Toby Clark and Shireen Jasmine Phillips at the same
nice.
time.
Okay, nice. It's not easy when someone literally like does that. It almost a lot of people be like, you're not forget it. So the fact that you didn't, you continued, and now you're doing amazing directing and just amazing work in general. So shouts out to you too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tristan, for talking to me. And oh no, it's a pleasure. Just the play comes out. Is it am I making this up? 16th of February is
That's
when
our
your
press
first.
night.
Oh, that's your press night. Okay.
Our press night is on the 16th of February. So yeah, come from there on in. And just to remind people that on the 24th of February, we have a blackout night.
That is so good.
That doesn't mean that you can't come and bring your white friend, but we're saying, let's be honest. is, let's be real, one day, for one night. You just bring
Listen, it's and I know people sometimes get really upset by this, and I keep saying to people, we're not no one's saying that other races cannot be there. It's just it's almost like the table, it's just almost giving us an opportunity to just feel comfortable.
for one night.
One
One.
night, not being asked, oh, what brought you to this play? At least I can just sit there and just enjoy it without feeling a little bit nervous or stiff.
Exactly. Oh, should I laugh at this bit? And then the white person's watching me laugh at this bit about blackness. Oh, I can't laugh no more. The amount of time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm. Exactly. No, but thank you so, so much. And I'm very much looking forward to watching the play for sure.
Thank you very much for having me, Christine.
Oh, my pleasure. All the best, Tristan.
Thank you.
Bye.